At the Belgian Grand Prix, Ferrari brought a piece of technology to Spa-Francorchamps that has already forced the FIA to take a closer look at its own rulebook. Team principal Frédéric Vasseur approved the introduction of the Macarena EVO rear wing, an evolution of the rotating wing concept Ferrari first introduced during pre-season testing in Bahrain. Unlike a conventional DRS flap that simply tilts to open a gap, the Macarena wing rotates through nearly 270 degrees, flipping the aerodynamic profile completely upside down when the car enters low drag mode. The system falls under the 2026 technical regulations, which replaced the old DRS system with fully active aerodynamics, giving drivers a driver-selectable X mode for low drag and a Z mode for high downforce. The EVO version was developed specifically for low downforce circuits like Spa. According to reports from motorsport.com Italia, the package received final approval in Maranello before the race weekend and was built to cut aerodynamic drag along the Kemmel Straight while preserving enough stability through Spa's fastest sections, including Eau Rouge, Rydillen, and Blanchiment. The concept had operated without reliability issues since its competitive debut at the Miami Grand Prix, giving Ferrari confidence to continue developing it without setbacks. Even so, the FIA has contacted both Ferrari and Red Bull, the only two teams that have raced rotating Macarena wings this season, requesting additional information to confirm the systems meet every safety requirement. The wing remains legal and compliant with current regulations, but the scrutiny reflects how seriously the governing body is treating any active aero system after what happened to Red Bull's version of the same idea. That is where Max Verstappen's season takes a sharp turn. During qualifying for the Austrian Grand Prix, Verstappen crashed heavily at turn 9 of the Red Bull ring while pushing for a place in the top 3. Red Bull confirmed that the rear wing had failed to close properly at the end of the car's straight-line mode, resulting in a sudden loss of rear downforce. Race engineer Gianpiero Lambiase was heard on team radio immediately after the crash saying, "I will check the rear wing, maybe a delay on the rear wing." Verstappen later described the moment bluntly, "In T9 there was a big loss of rear-end grip and the car spun out at high speed. I had an uncontrollable spin and the wheel fully locked." The crash dropped him to 5th on the grid for a race weekend that was supposed to answer questions about Red Bull's new upgrade package. 1 week later, the same fault reappeared at the British Grand Prix. Verstappen was running third and closing in on a podium finish when his car spun off at Stowe Corner with just a handful of laps remaining, going off at the end of lap 47 of 52. The incident triggered a late safety car, and the race finished under caution behind winner Charles Leclerc. Speaking afterward, Verstappen explained the failure was mechanically different from Austria but produced the identical result, yeah, like Austria, but a different fault that's ended up in the same outcome. He added, "So again, while turning into the corner, the rear wing is not fully attaching, and you lose a lot of downforce for that. You just spin off the track." Asked about the danger of the fault, Verstappen did not soften his language. "At this point, it's super dangerous because I could have really hurt myself 2 times. I was lucky in Austria, I was lucky here, but that's why you get really fed up with it." Team principal Laurent Mekies acknowledged the seriousness of the situation, stating the team would leave no stone unturned in its investigation and that we will do whatever is necessary to be on the safe side. The reliability crisis has real championship consequences. After the British Grand Prix, Verstappen sits 78 points behind second-place George Russell, with a maximum of 50 points available before the summer break. Verstappen is believed to have a clause in his Red Bull contract that would allow him to become a free agent if he falls outside the top 2 in the standings by that point in the season, a threshold his current position has already crossed. This is where the rumors of a move to McLaren for 2027 have intensified. Team principal Zak Brown has been direct about the nature of these reports, telling media at Silverstone, "They're rumors. No conversations. No contract has been signed, and McLaren's current lineup of Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri remains under contract, meaning any Verstappen deal would require McLaren to restructure its driver pairing." What is confirmed, rather than speculative, is that Verstappen's longtime race engineer Gianpiero Lambiase has agreed to join McLaren as chief racing officer once his Red Bull contract expires, a move both teams have officially announced. Lambiase has worked with Verstappen since 2016, through every one of his championship-winning seasons, and Verstappen has previously suggested his own future could be tied to whether Lambiase remains his engineer. Should Verstappen ultimately depart Red Bull, the team would need to identify a replacement, and one name that continues to surface in that conversation is Arvid Lindblad, though this remains speculation rather than any confirmed succession plan. While Red Bull's driver situation remains unsettled, Ferrari has removed all uncertainty from its own lineup. Charles Leclerc signed a contract extension with Ferrari that keeps him with the team until at least the end of the 2028 season, with the deal announced just days before his home race at the Monaco Grand Prix. Leclerc, who joined Ferrari's junior academy in 2016 and has been a full-time driver for the team since 2019, said in a statement, "I couldn't be happier to continue this journey with Scuderia Ferrari HP. It has always been so much more than just a team to me." Ferrari's official announcement described the extension only as covering the coming seasons, without disclosing the exact length, though multiple outlets, including Sky Sports News, reported the term runs at least through 2028. This extension effectively locks Ferrari's driver pairing of Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton in place for the foreseeable future, which means recent talk connecting Oliver Bearman to a Ferrari seat should be treated as outside analysis rather than any realistic short-term possibility. With Leclerc committed through 2028, that door is closed for now. Away from the cockpit, Christian Horner is working on a return to Formula One through ownership rather than management. Horner, who spent 20 years with Red Bull before his departure, is in talks with MSP Sports Capital, a firm that previously held a stake in McLaren Racing before exiting profitably in 2025, about backing a bid for Otro Capital's 24% stake in Alpine. Reports from Sky News suggest the deal could value Alpine between $2 billion and $2.5 billion. Renault Group retains the remaining 76% of the team, and the deal has not been finalized. Alpine confirmed earlier this year that Horner and his consortium are among several parties interested in the Otro Capital stake, but stressed that any discussions are happening directly with the shareholders, not with team leadership. Horner has been clear about what kind of role he is seeking, previously stating he would want to be a partner, rather than just a hired hand. That positioning suggests Horner is not looking for an operational job inside Alpine, but genuine ownership authority within the team's structure. Elsewhere on the grid, speculation continues to surround both Fernando Alonso at Aston Martin and Carlos Sainz at Williams, though these situations remain fluid and require continued verification before firm conclusions can be drawn. What is established is that Sainz has grown increasingly frustrated with Williams' form in 2026. After the British Grand Prix, Sainz said plainly, "Patience doesn't run out, but I'm disgusted and worried. It's the first time I've clearly seen that the car isn't being developed." Williams sits well behind its 2025 pace, and Sainz's contract runs only through the end of 2026, with reports linking him to Audi as a potential destination alongside continued speculation about other teams. These situations remain reportedly in motion rather than settled, and any conclusions drawn from them should be treated as ongoing storylines rather than confirmed outcomes. The final piece of this season's puzzle sits with the grid's only newcomer. Arvid Lindblad, 18 years old, is the sole rookie across all 22 seats on the 2026 grid, racing for Racing Bulls after taking over the seat vacated by Isaac Hadjar, who was promoted to partner Verstappen at Red Bull. Lindblad arrived in Formula One as the youngest race winner in both Formula 3 and Formula 2 history, and he partners Liam Lawson at Racing Bulls under car number 41. Given his position inside the Red Bull Junior pipeline, Lindblad has been mentioned as a potential long-term option to eventually replace Verstappen at the senior team, but this framing remains speculative, tied more to his development trajectory than to any confirmed plan from Red Bull's management.